From the B-29 Superfortress that dropped atomic bombs to the Zero's insane early kill ratio, these are the 10 deadliest warplanes of World War II, ranked by what they actually did in battle. It wasn't the fastest or the sleekest, but it became a symbol of terror in the early days of World War II. In Poland, the Stuka was the face of blitzkrieg, deadly accurate bombing runs, those notorious Jericho trumpet sirens howling during every dive, pure psychological warfare from the sky. People heard that sound and knew destruction was coming. Early on, the Stuka gave Germany a huge edge. Precision bombing, innovative features like dive brakes and an automatic pull-up system, in case the pilot blacked out in the dive. But by the time the Battle of Britain started, the Stuka was already outmatched. It couldn't keep up with new fighters like the Spitfire and had to be pulled from frontline service. Even so, it stuck around as a ground attack workhorse until the war's last days, flying sorties around Berlin in 1945. Then you get to the P-47D Thunderbolt, nicknamed the Jug. Not the prettiest plane, but probably the toughest. This was the biggest single-engine Allied fighter of the war, built around a monster 2,000-plus horsepower radial engine. The P-47D didn't just look sturdy. It took damage that would put other fighters in the ground and kept flying. 8 50 caliber machine guns, a payload of bombs or rockets, and enough armor to get you home even after taking a beating. Some pilots flew 80-plus missions in the same battered Jug. It was a killer as both a bomber escort and a ground attacker. The only thing holding it back was range. When the P-51 Mustang showed up, it took over the long-range jobs. But with over 12,500 built, the P-47D did serious work in the war's toughest battles, and pilots trusted it to bring them back even when things went sideways. If the P-47 was the tank, the P-51 Mustang was the thoroughbred. The arrival of the Mustang changed everything for Allied bombing campaigns. Suddenly, those big bomber formations could make it deep into Germany with real protection. Bomber losses plummeted, sometimes dropping from 9% to 3%, all because of the Mustang's range and killing power. The Tuskegee Airmen, 332nd Fighter Group, made the P-51 famous as the Red Tails. These pilots built a reputation as some of the best in the U.S. Air Force, and their Mustangs became icons. Each P-51 packed 650 caliber machine guns, and some carried up to 10 rockets or 2,000 pounds of bombs. By the end of the war, Mustang pilots claimed nearly 5,000 enemy planes destroyed, the highest Allied score for a single-engine fighter in Europe. The P-51 didn't just win dogfights, it helped everyone else survive, and that made it deadly in a whole new way. The P-38 Lightning was pure innovation, twin engines, twin booms, and a whole new set of tactics. The Luftwaffe called it the fork-tailed devil, and for good reason. Armed with 450 caliber machine guns and a 20mm cannon, the P-38 handled everything: bomber escort, dive bombing, ground attacks, even photo recon. It was the only American twin-engine fighter that mattered in both the European and Pacific theaters. In the Pacific, the P-38's long range and engine reliability meant you could do missions other fighters simply couldn't handle. Escorting bombers over open ocean, staying out longer, covering ground nobody else could reach. When it came to flexibility and reach, the P-38 set the standard. You can't talk World War II fighters without mentioning the BE-109. Germany built over 34,000 of them, more than any other fighter ever. This wasn't some elite, one-off machine. The Bf-109 showed up everywhere, from the start of the war to the very last days, and on almost every front. It outclassed early opposition, and even as new versions came out, the 109 kept pace. Many of the top German aces racked up massive victory counts in the Bf-109, making it one of the most effective killer machines of the war. After 1945, it was still flying in Spain and even Israel. The 109 was always there, always a threat, and its legacy comes down to this: sheer numbers, relentless presence, and deadly results in the right hands. This is the plane that kept Britain in the fight. When the Luftwaffe came for England, it was Spitfires that met them head-on, winning the Battle of Britain and keeping German bombers out of London. What most people don't realize, the Spitfire didn't just chase off fighters. The Royal Air Force also used it to intercept Germany's V-1 rockets. Over 300 of those flying bombs got shot down by Spitfires before they could hit their targets. That mattered. The V-1s that slipped through killed about 30,000 British civilians, so every single intercept counted. The Spitfire stuck around for the entire war. It was the only British fighter in continuous production from day one to the end, constantly evolving. New guns, new engines, new tricks. At one point, the Spitfire Mark 11 managed Mach 0.92 in a dive. Insane speed for a piston engine fighter. It wasn't just everywhere, it was always getting better. Nicknamed Whistling Death by the Japanese, the Corsair brought an insane 11-to-1 kill ratio to the Pacific. The design is pure purpose. Those weird inverted gull wings aren't just for show. They fit a massive propeller and short landing gear for carrier decks. The engineering got even crazier with flush riveting and spot-welded panels just to keep the skin perfectly smooth. Armed with 650 caliber Brownings and the option for bombs or rockets, the Corsair was fast, heavily armed, and took off from aircraft carriers in some of the roughest combat of the war. It excelled in the brutal Pacific theater. The stats say it all. Over 11 enemy aircraft downed for every Corsair lost. Most people know it by its Allied codename, Kate. This wasn't just another Japanese bomber, it was the backbone of the attack on Pearl Harbor. In the first wave, B5Ns delivered torpedoes and bombs that crippled American battleships. But the B5N didn't stop there. For the first year of the Pacific War, this plane was everywhere the Japanese Navy won. Midway, Coral Sea, you name it. It carried a rear-firing machine gun, could drop almost a ton of bombs or a massive torpedo, and had a 90% hit rate in the early days. The B5N2 variant helped take out carriers like the Yorktown, Lexington, and Hornet. It wasn't glamorous, but it was devastatingly effective. Second place goes to the Mitsubishi A6M Zero. This is the plane that made the Allies realize they had a real problem in the Pacific. On December 7, 1941, Zeros led the attack on Pearl Harbor alongside B5Ns and D3As. Early in the war, the Zero had everything: speed, range, maneuverability. Nothing in the Allied arsenal could match it. Japanese pilots used it for dogfights, long-range escort, even kamikaze missions. The design pushed performance so far that some estimates put the Zero's early kill ratio as high as 12-to-1. The price was paid in safety: no armor, no self-sealing tanks. Once Allied tactics and tech caught up, Zeros went from hunters to hunted, but their early reign was total. At the top of the list is the B-29 Superfortress. This isn't just a bomber, it's the plane that ended the war. 3 companies built thousands of B-29s, Boeing, Bell, and Martin, because the scale was that massive. The B-29's very design changed bomber technology, pressurized cabins, remote gun turrets, the ability to fly high and far. Each one could haul a 20,000-pound bomb load, protected by 1250 caliber guns and a 20mm cannon. The Soviets even copied it and called it the Tu-4. Most people only know two names, Enola Gay and Boxcar. These were the B-29s that dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Those missions make the B-29 the only aircraft in history to drop nuclear weapons in combat. That alone makes it the deadliest warplane of World War II, and probably the deadliest ever built.